Hey y'all, it's Holly. So, yes, I know I just made a short yesterday saying it's hard to get these out. Well, I was wondering what sleep can do for you, but also timing. Either which way. Yes, this is going to be another Friday 13th review. Not doing part 5 with this mask. That's because I'm kind of just wanting to do the ones I haven't really seen that much. And this one's going to be 3 movies in one. Why? Because I think it's fascinating looking at the last gasp of sorts for Paramount's run, being 6, 7, and 8. Um, the thing is, like most Friday fans know this, and most horror slasher fans know this. Those ones are not well received. They're not very good. They are censored to all hell, um, and they're just odd. So 6, I would say, I don't know if I want to say part 6 is the worst of the three. Um, it definitely has the least going for it because I honestly don't remember much of it. I had seen like just recently all of them, and 6 is the one that's just like all I really remember about 6, besides not having that much violence or anything, is the happy face tree kill. Um, that's oddly an iconic kill. I don't know if because people think it's funny or it's just so lame or something. That's the one people think from it, and I get it because that's the only one I remember from it. Um, it really is just like the last final bit for Tommy. And yeah, he does go down fighting and stuff, but like it's not as good as 5 for sure. Because like I said, I'll get to 5, but 5 is much more of a in-depth look at how 4 affected Tommy. And this one, he's more just like a less effective, well, maybe less effective is the wrong term, but he's essentially trying to like kind of be this version like Friday the 13th's Dr. Loomis in a way, like warning people about Jason being back and no one caring. As now I'm talking about, I remember more of it, but um, it doesn't do much for anything. And like I said, like the lack of actual good kills, besides like one memorable one, does harm it a lot. Um, so like I do kind of put this at the bottom out of all of the Jason movies, out of all the Friday 13 movies. I think part 6 is probably the weakest. Um, it may not be the worst because the worst, we'll get to that one, but that one's at least a bit more memorable. Um, but yeah, 6 doesn't really have much for me besides that like paintball scene. 7, however, seven's also interesting. 7, once again, a lack of like proper like good kills, but it also introduces from just like technically 2 movies, um, the idea of psychic powers being involved, and it it's definitely odd because it's kind of also an 8, but eight's not as big with it. Um, but so like seven's odd for me because I just want to make sure I get characters right on this. There we go. Um, seven's odd for me because yeah, Tina, like the final bits with Tina, like attacking Jason, great, fun, interesting. The makeup, amazing. Kane Hodder, obviously the presence there is good. It's great, legendary. There is one bit in this movie that like there's a couple of bits I like. I do like in theory because they kind of do the same with five. This is a weaker version of five's bit, but they do kind of similar thing where like Tina's like meeting up with the like new kids and um trying to join up with them and have fun and blah 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 blah. Granted, the kids in this are not nearly as interesting as in five, um, and it's just an odd bit. Like you get to hate them a bit because a lot of them are kind of just jerks, but you don't get the proper catharsis with it because of the censoring. There is one kill in this that I do love because it's hilarious to me. Is is when Jason kills Dr. Cruz because he had already killed the he already killed Tina's mom, and uh, was it Tina's mom? He killed someone, and like with an actual like different weapon. He comes. I think it was Tina's mom. Apologies. That's how like without actual like seeing good deaths, it is kind of hard to remember. But he comes back like he had the chance to use the same weapon or just grab the doctor or do something. But no, he leaves, comes back with a like the like lawn shearer thing and kills him with that. Granted, very lamely. But I do love that like he's like, nah, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab this too instead. I do kind of find that really funny. Um, I do kind of like I said, I do like Tina's bits in this, where like she kind of revives Jason by accident. She's dealing with PTSD from her dad. Um, like the symbolism of that, like or maybe actually reviving her dad. I don't know. That part's a little wonky, but it is an interesting idea. Not much is done with it, especially afterward. But it does elevate seven to be a bit more memorable than six. I think seven doesn't have a like truly memorable kill like with six, but it does have that battle with Tina. Like it's the trade-off. Um, so like it's the middle of the pack for the like the final last three. Eight, however, eight with Jason Takes Manhattan is definitely unique. Uh, it does have the same issues as six and seven, being the lack of like proper kills and stuff, except for one, except for one really good one. Uh, but it's infamously like not really set in Manhattan. It's on a boat, which makes no sense because how does a boat get from a lake to Manhattan? Like it's not really a lake. I'm not sure how any of that works, and it's just odd. But um, yeah, yeah. But yeah, it is a little odd. Like that part's definitely like a weird bit. But um, it eight does have the same like motif. It begins with the same idea that Jason's almost a Frankenstein kind of character because it repeats what's in five. No, what's in six, being that Jason gets revived through electricity, which I kind of like. They don't do much with it other than be like, haha. Um, would it be funny if he's kind of like Frankenstein, like reference? Crap, this thing is. But no, eight's thing that has going for it is really honestly the unique setting and that visually, like it is probably one of the more interesting ones. Setting wise and visually wise, it is one of the more interesting ones, especially um as like Paramount's on its last legs of doing this. Um it does kind of have the it's like a weird mix of six and sevens bits a little bit where no, not six, I'm sorry, uh five and sevens bits with yeah, strike that, I'm going back, my mistake. The lightning revival was in five. No, the lightning revival was six. Yeah, lightning revival was six. I was correct. Yeah. But um it has the same kind of thing where like uh really Frank. Rennie. I don't know, my name, I guess her name was Rennie. Rennie kind of like has flashbacks of Jason, but like remembers him and is like PTSD from her stupid ass uncle tossing her in the water. And then also like could kind of feel him too, like connection wise. That's an odd bit. Eight does have a lot of odd bits. And of course, the ending being the oddest, where he gets turned into a kid via like toxic sludge. Like that part literally makes no sense. Like everyone agrees on that. Like the eight's ending makes no sense at all, and they just ignore it later on. Which fair enough. Um, Although it would have been fun if they brought it back for Freddy versus Jason, but uh, I say that eight's a bit better once again because of the locations and the like visuals, but also because once again, unlike seven, it has a very memorable kill. Technically two, only because one's really lame, being being Tamara's death, I believe it's Tamara. No, being JJ's death. JJ. Being JJ's death with the guitar, because it's literally like by this point, teleporting Jason had become a thing. This is the most teleporting Jason there is because he's above her. There's only one way, and he's walking. She runs down. Somehow he's there. I don't get it. This is teleporting Jason at his peak. Um, but like that one's kind of known because partly because they use it a lot in the advertising when these movies get airtime in October. Um, but yes, obviously the most famous bit of this movie, besides the whole like toxic sludge thing, is well, I keep getting names right. Is Julius's death? Is the uppercut essentially like lopping off his head into a dumpster? That part, perfection, awesome, love it. It's great. I will say that I do love that it kind of like the teacher is like, hey, everyone hide out in the dance hall. I'll be right back. And then they're about to leave. He's like, nah, they're already dead. Fuck them. We're going. It's like, they could be alive. We don't know. We're assuming they're dead. They probably are dead. We did see him by the window, but you don't know that. We don't know that per se. They could all be fine. It could be like, nah, I'm going to go do something else. You could have just had a scene where they come back. Like one scene when the teacher, uh, the freaking frack her name is, uh, Colleen, probably. Yeah, Colleen. Probably. Uh, Sees all the kids dead and is like, okay, now we definitely have to go. Like, they could have just had one little scene with that, but no, they just say, nah, they're already dead. We're going. I kind of love that. But the other thing I do kind of love within these ones is just how awful people are, being that in both seven and eight, like the doctor character or uncle are just complete shits. This one especially because it's like arbitrary. You can't be around. You got PTSD. It's like you have issues. It's like My dude, you gave her those issues. You're the idiot. Shut up. Same with Seven. Seven's like very weird. It's like, oh, you got issues, but I'm gonna bring you here and make those issues worse because I'm writing a book on you. It's like, I kind of love that. But yeah, eight, I don't want to say I like eight the most out of the three, but it's definitely the most interesting out of the three, because it tries to be a little bit different. Um, and you get like one of the few times where Jason does something good, being when he kills the two druggy rapists. Like, good on you, Jason. You did one really good thing. Well, besides killing the uncle in eight and the doctor in seven. So maybe he did a couple good things, but this time for sure he did something really good for someone. Um, yeah, eight's weird. Like all of these are really weird, and like the weirdness doesn't stop because New Line decided to just go completely off the wall to begin with, which I'll get to, but um, like it's definitely strange. I do like that, and I find it interesting. I like and I find it interesting that both Freddy and Jason, who eventually obviously meet up, are the ones who experiment the most with their IPs and their ideas. Like Chucky does a bit, but like it's more just body swapping in different bodies and stuff. Granted, the body swapping does come with Jason too. But it's more like, what if we introduce psychic powers? What if we do this? What if we change the setting here? Like that kind of thing. Versus like Halloween, which is 99.9% all in Haddonfield, except for one. Um, or like Freddy gets also psychic powers multiple times, and also just his weird backstory that keeps changing. But like Jason, yeah, the backstory also changes too. Like both suffer greatly from like they don't know what to really do. They're trying to add lore, and the lore doesn't really make sense. It's a little odd in the beginning and stuff, and then they add psychic powers or other things, and it becomes very odd. That like the next one's either ignored. Most people just be like, okay, whatever. But if I had to rank them, six would be in the bottom. Seven, seven, I don't know. I may put seven slightly above eight. Eight may be in the middle, only because eight gets, I think, good at points. Eight does get good at points for sure. And there's bits like the visuals and stuff are better, like than seven. But seven has that really memorable third act. And technically eight does too, but eight only has one like good memorable part. Technically two if you count him killing the druggy guys. But it just ends on a weird, bad note. And like seven at least ends fun. Seven ends pretty good. Eight really doesn't. Um it's hard to say. They're very close because, like I said, like the kills are bad. Like I don't remember any of the kills in seven besides the doctor one, only because I find that funny. Eight, I remember Julius's death and JJ's death because those ones are shown a lot and are either memorable. Um, and then six has the smiley face, and that's it. Um, but yeah, I would probably say six. Depending on my mood, six, eight and seven would swap places for me. But I do want to say that maybe, I wouldn't feel right putting eight. No, I'll put eight above seven because eight at least has the visual uniqueness going for it. It is memorable for sure. It's definitely more memorable than seven. Like seven, like I said, the third act is the memorable part. The rest is like kind of like, okay, sure, whatever. But either way, um, I'll get to five eventually. I'll get to one, two, and three also. But I kind of like just going for the ones I haven't seen that much or just like are more interesting to talk about. So eight's going to be next. No, not eight, nine's going to be next, and then ten's going to be next for sure. Like those ones are definitely interesting, let's say. And fan consensus on them are mixed to actually quite positive nowadays. I don't know the fan reactions to seven, six, seven, and eight. I don't know. I assume like yeah, most people six and seven are on the low tier, and eight's probably low tier too. Like they're probably the bottom three for sure. But who knows? There may be fans. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But I mean, yeah, if you're a fan of these ones or have other insights, let me know in the comments. It's always good to talk. But yeah, that's it for now.